Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are doing really well. In this topic, we are going to discuss auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, and copulous or linking verbs. Let's revise the definition of verb. Anything that tells about subject is called verb. Most of the things we say or build around them. For example, Ali is kicking the football. He loves to win. Now, what are auxiliary verbs? The verbs be, that is, am, is, was, etc., have, and do are auxiliaries when used with main verbs to make tenses, passive forms, questions, and negatives. Auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. For instance, I am tired. This is the example of auxiliary. Am in this sentence is auxiliary verb. In the same way, they were going to Lahore. The ball is kicked by him. These all are examples of auxiliary verbs. Usage of be. The auxiliary be is used in the formation of the continuous tenses as they are playing, he was running, I am writing. In the formation of passive as the book was published, game was lost, food is being cooked. Be is used before infinitive to indicate a plan, arrangement or agreement as I am going to visit grandma this Sunday, or he is to buy a car next June. I am to pay half of the rent. To denote command or order as you are to prepare lesson 1 by heart. Mother says you are to change shirt at once. Usage of have. The auxiliary have is used in the formation of the perfect tenses as they had left, she has been watching. Have to is used with the infinitive to indicate obligation, responsibility as I have to be completed my work by 6 o'clock. He has to send money. The past form had to is used to express obligation in the past as I had to be completed my work by 6 o'clock or he had to send money. Usage of to form the negative and interrogative of the simple present and simple past tenses of main verbs as she does not play, she did not play, does she play, did she play. To avoid repetition of previous ordinary verb as do you read book? Yes, I do. He runs crazily? Yes, he does. You know her? Did not you? She writes creatively and so do you. Do is also used to emphasize the affirmative nature of a statement as she does her homework or I told him not to run but he did run. In the imperative, do makes a request or invitation as do come, do dine with me tomorrow. In such cases, do is strongly stressed. Moving toward modal verbs, do you know what are modal verbs? The verbs can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, and ought are called modal verbs or modals. These verbs are used before main verb and express meanings such as permission, possibility, certainty, and necessity. Modals have no S. The way you all know that the main verbs have S forms and ES forms and ING forms and ED forms, but modal verbs have no such form. Usage of can. Can is used to express ability or capacity. For instance, I can run 2 miles in just 7 minutes. It's telling us about ability. He can write poetry. Can you ride a horse? These all are examples of can. The further examples of can is it's used to express permission but in informal terms. We use can when we are talking with our friends. For instance, you can bring camera. Can I borrow your book? Usage of may. The modal may is used to express possibility and permission in formal settings as you may dine with us. Maybe you are inviting your teacher over dinner and you are being humble and saying him or her that you may dine with us. May I come in? We speak when we want to come in class, or she may visit us. Could and might are used as the past equivalents of can and may, as you could bring camera, you might dine with us, she might visit us. Shall, should, will, would. Shall is used in the first person and will in all persons to express future. Today I shall is less common than I will, as I shall will. Both are correct. I shall 25 next month or I will be 25 next month, both are correct. We will need the money on 15th. When shall we see you again? Tomorrow will be Sunday. These all are the future usage of will and shall. Moving towards the other point, that is, in present day English, however, there is a growing tendency to use will in all persons. Shall is sometimes used in the second and third person to express a command, a promise, or a threat. For instance, she shall not enter in my office again. You shall receive funds tomorrow. They shall be answerable for this. Should and would are used as the past equivalents of shall and will, as I expected that I should get a first class. He said he would be 25 next birthday. That she would carry my books. She would sit for hours listening to the wireless. Should is used in all persons to express duty or obligation, as we should obey the laws, you should keep your promise, children should obey their parents. Must is used to express necessity or obligation. You must improve your spelling. We must get up early. Must refers to the present or the near future. To talk about the past, we used had to, the past form of have to. Must has no past form. Yesterday we had to get up early. And must is often used when the obligation comes from the speaker. When the obligation comes from somewhere else, have to is often used. The comparison is I must be on a diet. This is my own personal decision. I have to be on diet. The doctor had told me to be on a diet. Ought to expresses moral obligations or desirability, as we ought to love our neighbors. We ought to help him. You ought to know better. Ought to can also be used to express probability, as prices ought to come down soon. This book ought to be very useful. Linking verbs. Some verbs are used to join an adjective or a noun complement to a subject, that are called linking verb, copular verbs, or copulous. Common linking verbs are be, seem, small, appear, look, sound, smell, taste, feel, become, get, etc. For example, you look pretty. This perfume smells good. He is my friend. That is all about verbs. Hope you have got insight from the lesson. If you did not understand anything, do write that in the comment box. And if you like the lesson, do subscribe the channel and hit the like button. Thank you.